You don't just get to 1 million and then 2 million users without being effective and about being intentional about your targeting strategy.
If education sales has you second-guessing yourself, take a breath. This is a trust-first, relationship-driven market, and the old tactics, they don't translate. This show replaces guesswork with clarity and a customer acquisition system that builds a pipeline you can trust. I'm Josh Chernikoff, two-time education founder with 2 exits and a lead gen coach for companies in education. Through my EdSales elevation experience over the last 2 years, I've coached 210 companies to leads on repeat. In 2025 alone, I delivered over 2,600 hours of coaching to education companies. My co-host is John Gamba. He also has a successful exit, and now he's the Director of Innovative Programs and the Entrepreneur in Residence at Penn's Graduate School of Education. This is the only show dedicated to customer acquisition for education companies, so consistent listeners go from stalled deals to clarity, credibility, and a pipeline they can rely on. This is EdSales Edge, where education company founders earn their edge.
Welcome, everybody. I am John Gamba, sitting in for Josh Chernikoff. Josh is on the mend, and I have a strange feeling that he is listening today. I am standing in for our fearless leader as he went through his episode, I'll call it, last week. A lot of you know from social media, Josh is in a recovery from a major surgery and wants me to remind everybody that when you feel something, see something, say something. Josh has been kind of down for a while, knowing something was up. He wasn't sure if it was his asthma. It surely was something, right, Celine? And so he went through his procedure. He's doing really well. He's recovering. He's on the mend. A record recovery, as he likes to say it, in terms of what he went through last Friday. He's now at home and he's resting. He's listening. Hi, Josh. And we're excited, Celine, to meet you and learn a little bit about your background, your why, the work you're doing with AskSia, and then today's subject, which is all about targeting. But I wanted to open the show by offering a big shout out to Josh, and we really we're wishing him well, and it was definitely an ordeal. He's doing well, and onward and upward, as we like to say with the show. I'm honored to be a co-host with him and to lead this session. But here we are with Celine Xu, and I learned, Celine, that Xu means brilliant and rising sun, right, in your native language. And you are the founder of AskSia. You're also a graduate student at Penn's Graduate School of Education in our EdTech program, and someone that I really admire, you and your co-founder, Mark, for doing a lot of work in the area of AI tutoring. You have an international company. You've grown very fast. You've raised some capital. You're generating revenue, and you kind of epitomize this idea of targeting with intention. So before we get into that and how you target customers and how you've grown so fast, tell us a little bit about Celine, your why, how you got involved and thought through and came up with this idea on AskSia, what AskSia is, and how you kind of carried that into your graduate studies here at Penn GSE. And then we'll kind of have just an open conversation on targeting and what that means for other people in this community.
For sure. First of all, thank you for having me. And also I saw Josh's picture on LinkedIn, so hope he is all well. And about a little bit about me and about AskSia. So first of all, I came from a kind of third culture kid background. I grew up a little bit in Shanghai, a little bit in Hong Kong, and a little bit in the United States. So international culture always kind of amazed me. And because I'm a current student at Penn add-on program, and my past 23 years is all about education, Asian kids and Asian parents. So education seems to be one of the biggest thing that's always on within my life. And I always trying to see if there's a way that I could actually make it more efficient and a little bit more fun. Because when I was a kid, the majority of the education that I had was not like United States, and it's more so like you need to pay attention to whatever the teacher said. You have no kind of way of saying in a classroom, just take notes, you take a lot of exams. And this kind of structure really, to some degree, pissed me off. And I typically do not perform very well in this kind of settings. And I feel like I perform so much better here when I went to United States and having a more open-ended class discussion, having more team collaborations. And I feel like it is something that more suits me. And I wanted to see if there's a way to help more students to, just to make education more accessible and to make it a little bit more fun. So the very idea of AskSia started when I was in my college senior year. And my co-founder, Mark, he found me. He was the boss of my previous intern experiences. He found me because I'm a current student, and he asked me, how about we, started this company that we can actually help. We help international students and bilingual students to start with, because this is a student group that is high stake learners, and they have a much bigger pain point. And they're really struggling, a lot of them here in the United States and in other English-speaking countries. So that's initially the point that we started with. And he invited me down. He said that, I want to create an AI tool. By that time, ChatGPT just launched for like 2 months or so. And he said, I want to have a vertical education, AI education platform to help students to study more easily. And we are a combination of different kind of things. We can help students to transcribe. There's interactive quizzes, flashcards, Q&A with reference points so students understand, why this explanation is coming from. And right now we have much more functionality added into it. I think the very key design of AskSia is we don't want it to be a tutor, because a tutor sounds like condescending, right? There's someone passing on a knowledge to the other. We want it to be more like a peer, a study buddy, a study co-pilot, so that you're the pilot, so you're the main charge. And it is someone who can assist you any kinds of academic, problem settings that you're encountering, and it can help you to deal with. And currently we have more than 2 million users around the globe. We expand from only serving bilingual and international students here in the United States, and we expanded kind of throughout several continents. Right now our users are coming from 120 countries. So it's been an exciting journey.
Yeah, it's such a great background. And I have to say, Celine, when I first met you through the orientation at the EdOnt program and Jenny Zaff and your colleagues in your cohort, I just found the enthusiasm and the energy so positive. But I also was like, another AI tutor. I've seen so many of these in my work as entrepreneur in residence. And then we sat down and we started talking about differentiation and value proposition and problem and solution. And I still was, there's such saturation in this space. And then you said 2 million users, and you said,
By that time, 1 million.
Yeah, 1 million, and you were growing fast. And then, 100 countries. And I started saying, wow, there's something really unique and there's something really powerful here. And as Josh asked me to think about targeting, and Alvin asked me to find a guest related to targeting, I immediately thought of you, Celine, because you don't just get to 1 million and then 2 million users without being effective and about being intentional about your targeting strategy.
If you're listening to this and something's already clicking, or maybe something feels a little off in your pipeline, don't overthink it. Don't go digging through notes. Don't tell yourself you'll come back to this later. Just text me directly. My number is 771-333-4233. Tell me what you sell into education, who you're targeting, or where things feel stuck. I read every text myself. All right, let's get back to it.
So tell us, you and Mark create this platform. It's definitely transformative, but you have to get users. Take us through that process of targeting. Like, how do you find prospective users, and then how do you get them to sign up? And then how does that eventually translate into CAC, your cost of acquisition, and your LTV, your long-term value? that develops, which is so key to sustaining the growth of AskSia. Tell us about targeting.
Yes, for sure. So first of all, we are a B2C company. So it's a little bit then different than majority of the EdTech, startup that are selling directly to institutions. So for us, this kind of cold launch is a little bit harder than ever. When we first started, we are actually targeting AP students. So we are just promoting that how accuracy that we can provide it than ChatGPT, because by then ChatGPT, especially doing math and STEM program, the accuracy rate is kind of horrible. So this is our first promotion points that we can do so much accurate than large language models. But for the first half year or so, and no one is buying it. There's no users around it. We're trying very best, but it seems like people are not believing in AI because the AI application just happening, and people are a little bit skeptical in terms of it. So the first half of the year, we only have 2 subscribers. They're my mom's car. She didn't even know it today. I used my mom's car to subscribe AskSia, and it lasted for like half of the year, and by then, just feel like it is not going to work. And if we wanted to have our product actually, help students and become a successful AI tutor, that we need to have something that user truly wants. At least we wanted to target users that are really high stake. So that's the point that we started to think about, maybe we should go start with international students, the market that we understand the most. We know how they study. We know what's the pain point that they're encountering, what's the biggest obstacles in their life, which is languages for sure, and readings. These are typically the 2 big pillars, pain pillars of international students. So we started over there. We have been more kind of just add more functionality into it, because a single functionality like homework helper, like snap a picture and get your answer, this type of app, they typically go viral super quickly, but user didn't stay with it for quite a long time. So this is not the pattern that we wanted to choose. We want to have a more comprehensive ecosystem that actually helps students all over. And we wanted to, just to have a more comprehensive ecosystem on it. So that's the point we started to have our transcribing with real-time translation function added. We have auto summary when you do whatever kind of work, whether it is, upload a PDF, that the summary will automatically pop up. When you do a transcribing, the summary will also automatically pop up. And you can't imagine this kind of little simple, so easily built function got us so many users and so much higher conversion, because user don't want to click another summary and then you generate it. They want it to be automatically there, and they instantly see the value of you can transcribing and translate it in the real time and give them the summary. So I think for us, we first get 100, let's say, first batch of the user through social media. And this 100 batch users, they love you so much that they're willing to create content for you for free. And they knowing that you're a startup, they know that you're a student just like them, and you're also an international student, and they're very willingly to promote it for you on RedNote. So this is how we got our first several of viral videos on RedNote. That's our users are posting it for us. They're saying that, hey, I just found out this website and they're built by students and they're super fun, super useful. And then instantly we got several of million views videos on RedNote. And then we immediately repurposed it and copied the same strategy on other countries' social media, like Instagram, like Naver for Korea, like TikTok, whatever. We did a lot of localized social media platforms. So that's how our user grow just skyrocketed.
So amazing. And Alvin, our fearless producer, if you could just drop the AskSia link in the chat so people can see it. It's such a great story.
Thank you.
This amazing idea of creating this AI-powered platform, AI assistance, thinking about the features and functionality that would have bite or would be in demand by your users. I'm still amazed about that trajectory to 1 million users. And I want to ask a very specific question, which is, when you got to 100, 1,000, 10,000, as you were targeting and you were going through your customer discovery, of determining what was going to really make this shoot to the moon. And you have a lot of decisions to make, right, Celine? It's social media, it's search engine marketing, it's SEO, it's influencer marketing. Was there ever a moment where you were like stuck at 1,000 or stuck at 10,000, and then there was a decision that you and Mark made, whether it's features and functionality or a better targeting strategy, that sent you to that next level? Like, tell us about that growth trajectory. Was it just steady, or was there a moment that said, this social media forum or this strategy on targeting was really the difference that allowed us to catapult our growth?
I think for growth, it's never steady, right? It's always exponential. And there are so many decisions that you need to make. And we definitely stuck at a lot of different numbers. And we are so stressful to see where's our next curve of growth is. So there are so many strategic decisions me and Mark made. I think there are several decisions that I remember so clearly, because initially, like I said, we are targeting bilingual users and specifically international students. And international students is a kind of small market relatively compared to United States, the whole big US market, the whole big Korea market. And for this group of students, it's just only around 1 million students. And at one point, our registration rate has already hit 1 in 6 international students have already registered with AskSia. So that's a point we wanted to see, should we just dive deeper into this market that we wanted to, but at a later stage, you need to spend so much money and so much energy in this market for it to grow from 1 in 6 to 2 in 6. So that's the point that we decided that we need to move kind of international expansion, and we wanted to see if there's opportunity in other market. But entering a new market, it is hard, because that you don't understand the culture there. You don't understand the language even speaking there. Sometimes, like what we are doing here right now in Korea, that we stumbled quite a month trying to see, how we can actually attract Korean users actually studying locally in Korea, because their needs is not going to be transcribing anymore. So that's the point that we figure out a strategy in our company. We call it localized globalization. So we won't enter a market without someone in our team who is either culturally understand or physically be there. So this is our key point of choosing the market that we wanted to enter. For example, right now in Korea or in Mexico, that we have someone who's physically there and culturally born there, so they understand this market well. And that's the point we found out. For example, Korean users, they are kind of formal about AI applications. They want to have the best AI model out there, or they will feel like my classmates will perform so much better than me. But at the same time, there are a little bit of fear of the use of AI, because they are afraid to be translated into plagiarism. So when serving Korean users, it gave us such a good kind of starting point that we start to understand what they are actually looking for or what their fear is. So that gives us a good point when we are designing our product. For example, when we design our product for Korean, we have a new paying methods, because Korean users are afraid of giving out their credit card. So that's why we connected with their local payment, which is called Kakao Pay. And for Korean marketing, we are also trying to, collaborating with influencer. We also have our own UGC team. We have our own marketing lead that are targeting the very key pain point of, Korean students trying to compare with their classmates. And we got so many viral videos. I think right now we have several billions of views in Korean market right now.
Before we keep going, quick pause. If what I'm describing right now feels familiar, there's a good chance you're not dealing with the lead problem. You're looking in the wrong places, and that's exactly why we built something called the targeting map. This is a simple framework we use inside 3E to help founders get clear on where their best clients actually exist. Not just who they are, but where they already value the outcome you deliver. Because when that's clear, you stop chasing conversations that go nowhere. You stop second-guessing your pipeline, and you start showing up in environments where decisions actually happen. If you want it, it's linked in the show notes, or just text targeting to 77133342233, and we'll send it straight to you. All right, let's get back to it.
So that's interesting. And I know somebody in Mexico who might be able to help you out. So Josh is building a home and kind of goes back and forth. If you haven't been to San Miguel Allende, Mexico City, Josh can help you there. If you need, what did you call it? A localized globalization strategy,
Exactly.
which I think is really, really interesting. It's not just, hey, there's a lot of learners in Thailand, let's go there. You're being really intentional about, do we have a flag that we can put in the ground with local influencers, if you will, who could help us stake a claim to learners there, to be able to target them, to be able to identify the needs of the learners there, and to connect those needs to the products, services, features, benefits that you're providing with AskSia. I think that's a really great strategy. I have to say, Celine, in working with you too, and Josh and I often joke about this, he'll say, John is my mentor and I've learned from John. And then I'll flip it and I'll say, well, this is what I've really learned from you, Josh, in terms of your signature solution and some of the ways that you work with entrepreneurs. Recently, in working with you, I flipped it on you. And I was looking at a venture and they're deploying in Shanghai and thinking about Chinese markets and targeting. And I didn't just say to that venture, this is what you need to do. I went to an expert who has localized knowledge of that area. And the first thing you did when you met with them and you thought through it is you went at it through the lens of targeting. How are you thinking about the target markets and how is that influencing price? So I just want to say I appreciate that, how the mentee becomes the mentor and how this community isn't just built around hierarchy and experience. Sometimes somebody who you're working with and you would think would be your mentee could teach you something. And we have to really think about that as we're, working in this community of entrepreneurial practice. So I appreciate that. You mentioned, Yeah. You mentioned that as we kind of round this corner, B2B, B2C, B2B2C, and I'm going to challenge you here, and I want you to take some time to think about it, but I think a lot of our audience members are challenged with that. The end user is a student, but the buyer might be an institution. The end student might be a student, but the buyer as a B2C could be a parent. I want to flip it to Penn GSE and your EdOnt program. What have you learned so far inside the cohort and inside your studies about the power of targeting? Like, give us some examples of some of your professors or some of your teachers and some of the knowledge or aha moments you've had in your education and how that applies, maybe capstone-wise, or how that applies to the growth of AskSia.
I think because we have been thinking all over about our strategy, because I feel like B2C is not sustainable. So B2B2C is actually another path that we are actually thinking. And for B2B2C, it will appear the situation like you described, that your end users are very much different than the decision maker. And we've been also talking with several of the schools that we started to pilot with school for scenarios like this. And I think what I get, or me personally, getting from this kind of piloting is that for sure that your product needs to serve your end user, and that's the goal, right? You want the end user to actually enjoy it and will be using it. I think a lot of company that I met, that they are so focused on the decision maker and they really don't care about their end user. They just believe whatsoever, I can get my money and I don't care. And I don't think that this is going to work in education sector per se, because I never feel like education is a field that you can make quick money. But how do you satisfy both decision maker and the end user? I think you just need different skills, at least with our case. So for end users, this will be reflected in your product. But for decision maker, it is more so about how you do the storytelling and how you do the narrative. Because the decision maker, they want to hear something that they really care about, right? Whether it is having more engagement with the students, whether help them to get their fundings. You wanted to target their pain points when you're talking to decision makers so that they can actually pay attention to your product. And for the majority of the school that we were piloting with, the decision maker didn't even try your product. They see a demo and that's it. And you talk the story that they really like and they give it to the end user. But we will be also tracking how the end user are, giving us the feedback. Are they actually using it? Are they actually engaged with it? Are they really staying with the product, or they just don't like it? I think these are like just two different segments that I'm trying to see. And in terms of the add-on program, I think it's very fun because our product, it's widely adopted in my cohort. And I would say more than 60% of my classmates are even paying for it because I gave them a month free trial. Like I just like opened this kind of access for them, but they didn't want me to give them more free trial, but they wanted to support my, AskSia, and they are also paying for it. So we got a lot of annual payment users from my cohorts. They're so supportive. I love them so much. But when they are trying to use it, and a lot of teachers also absorb this kind of trend, like students also open a wide window and there are like lesson transcribing, they're not sure what is going on. And one of my professor, he teaches marketing and finance. I think he has a strong opinions in terms of it. And he's definitely welcome in a lot of different kind of AI applications adopted in classroom, but he is a little bit concerned about how students are actually receive this kind of personalized experience after the course. So I think a lot of my product designing and my growth strategy is also kind of inspired by this professor that he walked me through. He wanted to see this kind of experiment of all of my cohort and classmates in his classroom using AskSia, how our platform can divide students into different kind of archetype, and we infuse with different kind of learning pedagogy, learning principles to serve different students differently. I think this is the need of the decision maker if he wanted to adopt this product, if I didn't know him personally, and if he wanted to adopt this product in the school, and I need to think about this side, right? Like, but for students, I also need to have a pivot a little bit to make sure students can get the value of what I'm providing. They can get a value of different kind of learning principle. They wanted to make it more fun. So, I mean, it is just a great experience. I would say I learned a lot from different courses that I take at program and from Penn GSE, of course.
Yeah. Will AskSia be part of your capstone?
Will AskSia be a part of my? Yes, it will. I am writing about my capstone homework right now and doing the pitches.
That's fantastic. And just a shout out to Jenny Zaff, Phil Price, Kajal, the whole crew. And one of the things that I really love about what you just said and the facts related to that program is the diversity of thought. So you probably have a dozen countries represented in your cohort, or the last couple of cohorts. People from, the Far East, people from right here in Philadelphia, Teach for America. You have people who are really committed to targeted universalism, really committed to equitable access, equitable experiences, and equitable outcomes in education. And the practical nature of the degree, I think, is one of the showstoppers, in my view, in terms of the education that you get through Jenny and the team. I've loved in my 7 years of working here, working with all of the different cohorts and thinking about how, in the end, you have a pitch competition, right? You have a presentation. It's very hands-on. It's very experiential. You travel. Yes. The group went to ASU GSV this year, a group of the cohort members, and you meet different people. I led, a collaboration with some of the students at South by Southwest EDU. So I can't say enough about it. Shout out to Jenny and the team and the perspectives that you gain there, Celine.
If you're serious about building a real lead engine in education, not just booking meetings, but actually creating consistent momentum, this is the work we do inside the EdSales Elevation Experience. I've spent years building, scaling, and selling companies in education, and what I've learned is this. Selling into schools isn't about doing more. It's about understanding how decisions actually get made. Inside EdSales Elevation, we walk founders through the full system. From defining your perfect client, to targeting the right environments, to building a pipeline. that doesn't rely on luck or referrals. This isn't theory. It's the same framework we use with founders actively selling into districts, institutions, and education organizations right now. If you want to learn more, you'll find details in the show notes or go to joshchernikoff.com/go and we'll walk you through it. All right, let's close this out. Let me bring this full circle.
2 million to 5 million students. Talk to us about targeting and how you're applying what you've learned so far to hit this next stage of growth.
I think something that really inspired me is doing my financial class. And that is a class that asks you to work on hands-on on P&L, and you couldn't use AI to do all of the formula. So I have hard-coded all of the formula hands by hands and to just to document all of the metrics that we are having to date, because I'm always not so sensitive to metrics. And after P&L, that I find out that we are actually, even though that we are hitting our break-even point, but you can see that we are not so capital efficient because we raised such a big amount of money to get what we are. I mean, it is not good enough for me. So when we think about how we grow from 2 million to 5 million, and with the P&L, I started to have this kind of feeling that creating content may not be enough for our stage. Because when you're doing social media and content creation only, you have to, like, finger crossed, and you have to want videos to go viral so that you can get so much users on a daily basis. But on social media, it's kind of all about luck, right? Like sometimes there's a video you feel very confident about, it didn't go viral. There's sometimes a random video that you posted, it suddenly attracted a lot of people. So there's no certainty in growth if you're only doing social media. So from this stage, we are actually thinking about to pivot it more on from marketing to actual growth. So right now we are also working on a lot of search engine optimization, which is very effective, and GEO, which is how AI can pick up all of the information that you posted on Reddit, on Quora, and AI will give recommendations to others. And these two channels are recently quite booming for us. And I think one of the insights, it is majorly from Quizlet, because there's a time that I want to search Quizlet valuation, and I wanted to see how big the company that potentially can be one of our benchmark is. And when I search for Quizlet valuation, it gives me Econ 101. So all of the Econ 101, it is kind of optimized for Quizlet content. And also like Chegg, also like a lot of big like EdTech company that they have such a great content consolidations and condensed on social media, on internet, that whatever students search, it's going to pop up one of them. And I think eventually it is like the stage that we wanted to be at. And I feel like this could be so much more effective than social media. And that explains why, a lot of big ad tech company even have such a big rec on valuations. They still have such a big number of subscribers and paying users that are actually very actively using it. So there will be our next step, hopefully, to break the cycle of social media stress to 5 million growth even more.
Yeah, it's great. We've covered a lot here, and we're going to close with this, Celine. You've been gracious with your time. I know you're at a pitch competition, or you're in a pitch session up in New York. So thank you for sharing that wisdom. We've talked about theory to action in your studies. We've talked about research to practice a little bit. We've talked about the fundamentals of targeting. It's really enlightening and inspiring to hear your story and your background. Final comments or final pieces of advice for those who are, maybe early on thinking about product-led growth, or thinking about a value proposition, or thinking about how to actually target, and maybe people are stuck. What networks or what resources would you recommend if they can't afford, or if they're not involved in a EdOnt program at the University of Pennsylvania? Where could they go? Where could they tap in besides this community, the EdSales Elevation Experience, and Alvin's going to drop in more information on this topic and how people can get involved and really lean in on this work. What other communities, what other networks, what other resources would you recommend to this community who are working away at targeting and trying to grow their business?
I think for me personally, my first recommendation is definitely EdSales and John Gamba. You need to talk to him. You mentor a lot of startup so that you can see like what's missing in your product in your startup and how you should be growing. And for me, by that stage, I think it's majorly my team, and you need a team that can actually complement you. Because for me, I am more a marketing girl. I'm not very good with, I don't even have a tech background, and I'm not very good with product sense. So to some degree, I think my team do complement me and walk me through a lot of dark period that I have the thoughts of giving up for a millions of time, and my team was always there for me. I think having a great team and the importance of having a great team was undervalued in a lot of startup world. And second of all, I think also something that I truly value is how you can actually networking on LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn, like I grow my LinkedIn from 0 connections because in my college year, I never thought that I would get a job of doing startup, and I need such a vivid and will have such a vivid LinkedIn network. So I grew my LinkedIn from 0 connections to where I'm sitting right now, which is not a lot of followers. I have like 2,800-ish followers, but a lot of great people inside of my network that I talk to constantly, that I ask for advice constantly. Some of my great advisors, great mentors, people that give me warm intro to potential, investors. I think it is just very, very key to ask other with curiosity rather than being such a, you have such a strong aim that you want to gain something from others. I think these two are different. I think a lot of time I just really enjoy talking with others, their experiences. A lot of time that others' experience inspired me.
It always rolls around to convictions that align with a lot of the recommendations that our fearless leader Josh offers. He's the master and the pro with leveraging LinkedIn to help grow your base, help to tell your story clearly, succinctly, help to network and build community with other like-minded founders and entrepreneurs to get insights on important things like customer discovery, important things like targeting, which we've talked about today. So thank you, Celine, for sharing your insight and your wisdom with our group. Thank you, Josh, for giving me the opportunity to sit in for you today and lead this conversation with a brilliant entrepreneur like Celine. Just another reminder, as Josh and I both have gone through some challenges. When you're sensing something and you're feeling something, say something. And remember that avoidance is fear's best friend, right? In business and in life, if you're sensing something and you need help in your business and you think you can do it alone, just know that you have a community, you have friends, you have loved ones that can help you out and get you through some tough times, whether it's trying to survive and grow to 2 million users, or if you're focused on a health challenge and you have to get through it with a lot of anxiety. There are people there for you. There are people there who are supportive. We're here for you. I hope you come back and visit Celine when we hit 3 million, 4 million, 5 million. Stay in touch. Thank your cohort members and your professors and teachers and directors. Jay-Z's awesome. And Alvin, thank you for giving me the guidance to lead this session today. I know it'll be shared across social media. And again, Josh, we're thinking about you. We love you, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you, Celine. Thank you for joining us, everyone. And we'll see you back here on campus, Celine, very soon.
Yes, very soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that's it for this episode of the EdSales Edge. Thanks for joining us. If you sell into education, the goal of this show is very simple: to help you stop guessing what actually moves deals in a system where trust matters. If you want to go deeper, join us inside the Entourage, our private community for education founders and operators selling into schools. You'll see the details in the show notes. If this episode helped you think more clearly, that's great. Subscribe, like it, and share it with another founder in the education space. Until next time, get clear, build trust, set up a system for sales, and keep earning your edge.